Hello guys, this is my learning log 10 for film 10, and sadly this is my final learning log. It's been quite a journey, but first let's go with the learning log. In this module, I learned and researched what filmmakers these days. I mean, I researched and learned the problems that filmmakers these days are facing. And out of my research, I concluded that there are 5 important obstacles that filmmakers nowadays face. And those 5 are of quality content, distribution, funding, marketing, and the digital revolution. First, let's talk about the quality of content. What I mean by this was that one thing I noticed is that starting filmmakers compared to those filmmakers in big name companies such as Marvel, Disney, Marvel and Disney are the same, Sony, Warner Brothers, Fox, are totally different from those filmmakers who are just beginning or just graduated or just just newly achieved their status as a filmmaker. For them, for me, I think this is the number one problem that they face, because the quality of content in big name companies and with them are totally different. In big name companies, they have better actors, better funding, more funding, better cameras, better equipment, better everything. So for filmmakers nowadays, this is for me, I think the biggest problem they have to face is how can they out better or outdo the content that their adversaries, the big name companies, make. Second, let's talk about distribution. In light of the digital revolution and everything we have now, the internet and everything, DVDs, this and that, actually distribution has become much more of a challenge for starting filmmakers, because they have to compete. They have to compete for the space, or for the seat, or the spot to enable to distribute their film. Like in To make an example is in places. I am a bit. They have a hard time distributing it in online streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, those kind of streaming services, because in terms of distribution, it is very hard, because why would those streaming services choose their movies over movies that are much well known and are guaranteed to have a high rate of return, because that movies are well known and made by a big company. So it's more like of fighting for the chance of showing their movies. Sorry, it's a bit too long already. Third, we are in our third now. I'm sorry, this is gonna be quite a long explanation. Third is the funding. Actually, come to think of it now, when I think of it, it's understandable that funding is quite hard. I think since even the olden days, in the golden days of cinema, decades ago, in the 1990s, 1980s, 40s, I think funding was very hard. But now more than ever, funding is much more difficult for filmmakers now than before, because again, because of the big name companies, like I already mentioned them. It's because of their quality of content that filmmakers have to face or have to confront the challenge and overcome this challenge of convincing and telling their would be investors that they should invest in this movie and that it's gonna be a hit and that it's gonna go off the charts, it's gonna be the best or something or similar to that. For that's this nowadays what many filmmakers are really facing is that they have to get the trust and they have to withstand the rigors of the rigors and the rigors of the criticism that I don't know if it makes sense of their investors will make for their movies or will make for why they should invest for their movies. I'm sorry, I cannot explain properly. That's the for me, that's the challenge they face now. It's like the challenge is to get their trust now. That's the challenge in this present day. Fourth, the penultimate is marketing. I think marketing has been a problem, but it's been, I think, come to think of it, it's much easier now to do marketing rather than before, because before you could only do marketing via radio or via TV commercials or how do you call that? Or TV commercials, or posters and such. But now you have the internet, so you can just promote your movie online and hope that many people see it. But the problem is not actually of the problem. For me, what I realized is the problem is not about win or lose. Sorry, I cannot stand it. The problem is not about the marketing side or promoting your film. The problem is how the filmmaker in question can make a strategy that will attract and would attract their intended audience. For me, that's from what I learned and research, that is the number one thing there in terms of marketing that filmmakers now have to face, because they really have a hard time getting the attention of an audience that is very, very, very limited because of the thousands or hundreds of many good movies now in the present day. Now, lastly, the last one is the digital revolution. The way that the thing with digital revolution is that the problem they face is that they create more products than what buyers can consume. So what this means is that there are more movies than for people to watch and buy to watch or something like that. That's the problem filmmakers face with the digital revolution, is because because of the way of making a film is very, very cheap now, and for example, I can just use this camera I'm using now and make a film out of it. But the problem is for the filmmakers themselves to convince the public or the buyers that their film is good and make it known to the world. And from what I learned about this is actually some of them are taking advantage of the digital revolution by knowing the benefits of using the internet, using the promotion, using it for making their film. But filmmakers nowadays, the number one problem that filmmakers nowadays is that they don't know how to make they don't know how to make a film properly, and because of that, they just create content. They just create movies that people actually don't want to watch, and because there's no genre in it. And that's all. We're already in the 10-minute mark, and I'm sorry that it took some of your time to finish this if you're watching this. Well, it's the final it's the final learning log anyway, and it's my learning log 10. To wrap up, it's been quite a journey. It's that moment again in the trimester where it's ending, so it's a bit emotional. Not really emotional, it's a bit like nostalgic. I remember that time 2 months ago, that starting this first learning logs and film activities. So I just want to say to those who stayed with me in this journey, that thank you for going along with this journey with me, and know the things I've learned, and by taking the time to watch these videos that I make. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and this is the end of my learning log 10, my final learning log. Bye bye.